Hello world. Just wanted to kind of introduce myself. My name is Tariq Muhammad. A lot of people call me Banks. And I was born in Gary, Indiana. You know, as far back as I can remember, my dad, he was a local entrepreneur, you know, had a lot of different businesses. He taught entrepreneurship. And as far back as at least 12 years old, he would always introduce me as his accountant. And I mean, it was kind of true, you know, more so a bookkeeper than anything, but I always helped out with the household budget, always kind of helped him keep the books on his various different businesses. And it just seemed like I always kind of naturally progressed closer and closer towards fulfilling that prophecy of actually becoming an accountant. I went to Purdue University in West Lafayette, and I chose electrical engineering for my major, which I don't understand why. Well, I understand why I did it. Being rebellious, because I didn't want to do accounting at that time, just because that's what my dad always told me I would be. And so I'm like, hey, that's what he wanted me to be, but that ain't what I want to be. So, you know, let me figure out what I want to do. I had a scholarship when I went, but due to my choices, I got on academic probation, ended up kind of being on the verge of losing the scholarship completely. And then that's when I said, okay, I need to do something different. So my idea was to take a break, take a year off, get my mind right, work, and then come back strong. Okay. Instead of staying in Indiana, I had the bright idea to go and spend that year in Miami, Florida, where my grandmother and my uncles and all of them stayed at, right? Long story short, that year turned into 5 years. So that's actually where I got the nickname Banks. You know, shout out to Steve for, you know, kind of giving me that name. And, you know, it kind of stuck because, you know, I was making money. You know, I worked for a telemarketing agency, and I was real good at sales at the time anyway. And we were selling vacations. I was making a lot of money, you know, spending money. I mean, I was spending money just as fast as I got it at that time. Then Elijah was born, my son. And that was, that was 2007. He was born December 2007. And, you know, that's when everything changed. You know, that's when I kind of realized, okay, dang, I can't just be out here the way that I was. You know, it's Miami, so I'm partying every day, you know, like going into work straight from the club, like I'm just wilding out. And I quickly found myself really struggling to keep up with the bills, you know. At the time he was born, me and my little brother lived together. It was a real, you know, rundown area, rundown house. We even called it the trap, you know, just because it just looked like a trap house. But then things really got bad when I got the news that his mom died. She passed away in January of 2009. So he was just, you know, just turned one a month early, you know, a month earlier. And then on that exact same day, I found out that the company I worked for, the telemarketing agency I was working for at the time, shut down, closed business, closed their doors, no warning, nothing, shut down that day, couldn't go to work after that. So that was and that period right now, I always refer to that as my rock bottom. You know, I was so lost. Here I am, I'm faced with a 1-year-old, and now I got to raise them all alone. And then I don't have a means of income at this point. I don't have any savings, because at that time I wasn't thinking about no budget or nothing like that. Why today's so important, you know, it's my mom's birthday, and she was really the one that was the start of me coming out of my rock bottom. Like they say about rock bottom, once you hit it, you know, you got no choice but to go up. So what she did was she said, Tarek, why are you struggling when I got a house? You know what I mean? You know, as long as I got a house, you got a house. And you struggling when you don't have to. So come home, you know, come home, regroup, get your stuff together. So me and Elijah, we packed up the car, packed up with everything that we could, and we made that drive back up to Indiana from Florida. And woo, that was a rough. Oh, my Uncle Abdul helped me. Shout out to Uncle Abdul. You know, he drove with us. We definitely got at least 2 flat tires on that journey. And think about this: you driving and you got a 1-year-old in the back seat. You getting flat tires. You barely got the money to even make this drive. You can't afford to get a hotel, so you sleeping in the car at a rest stop. You know what I mean? Like, it was just so crazy. But we made it, right? Got to Indiana, 2009, right? So my pride is hit. I got to move back home at 24. You know what I'm saying? After I done did all of this and been bragging on social media with the cars and the clothes and the clubs and the bottles and all this type of stuff, right? So pride is shot. But I'm like, nah, I can't, this ain't about to define me, and this ain't the end. So I get on the grind, you know what I'm saying? And I had to have done all kind of different stuff. Like, I'm hustling. I drove an ice cream truck. Like, I wasn't playing. I was doing everything that I could to make money. Then shout out to my mama too, because this whole time she really inserted herself as Elijah's mom. You know what I mean? Like, not just grandma, but definitely mom. I mean, he calls her mama to this day. You know, I always joke with them and say, hey, don't forget she was my mama first, you know. But I'm joking because, like, man, I love their relationship. Like, it's so amazing. And it really takes me back to the relationship that we had, you know, our mother-son relationship. Like, I was always able to talk to her about whatever. Always knew that I can go to her, whatever. She got my back no matter what, no judgment. She gonna offer good advice. And you know what I'm saying? So I just love it, and I appreciate her for that. Like, I can never really repay her. So she already know. Ma, you already know. You call me for anything, I got you. Because I decided, like, I need to stop playing. Like, these are my talents. Like, I'm a pro in math. I know money. Like, I know how to budget. I just wasn't doing it. I've had experience bookkeeping and, you know, other type of things. Like, I know what I'm doing. Like, let's just go ahead and do this. Let's capitalize off my talent. So just, it made more sense for me to go to school online to pursue my accounting degree. Because, like I said, I said, let me stop playing. Accounting is, you know, it's my destiny, I felt like at that point. Because the universe just kept pulling me back to it. I mean, when you're doing online classes, it's all about discipline. I did my homework after Elijah went to sleep. And, you know, his bedtime was 8 o'clock back then, or something like that, maybe even 7:30. But 8 o'clock, you know, I would do my homework. I wake up, take him to the daycare, go to the church, knock out whatever I need to work out there, class, you know, cook, repeat. You know, it was just you know, the cycle, and I got it done though, and I was determined to get it done as quickly as possible, because when you're doing online classes, you move at your own pace. So I definitely didn't want to take more than 4 years, but I wanted to do it as quick as possible. So I ended up completing it within 3 years, my bachelor's degree. Boom, got it done. I came up to where I was about to graduate, get my bachelor's degree. This was around 2014, and I just knew that I did not want to raise my son in Gary, Indiana. And then I stumbled upon Houston. So the thing about Houston at that time, 2014, it was one of the top cities for new accounting graduates. The schools, not necessarily in Houston, but in the surrounding areas, were very good. And I had a good friend of mine, well, Steve, you know, He's the one that kind of took me under his wing when we lived in Florida. And he was out there and he was doing good. And he volunteered his couch, said that I could stay with him, for as long as I needed to until I got on my feet. And that was all I needed, So as soon as I got that, and basically as soon as I graduated, I went ahead and took that leap of faith and packed up everything that we had again and took that drive, And here we are, 6 years later, I'm still here, and one of the best decisions I could have made. Ever since 2009, when I moved back into my mom's house, I've been extremely serious about budgeting. I've had, a couple of dips, definitely, and still had some periods, where, I kind of ventured off and wasn't practicing what I'm preaching now. It was a period where I just was making too much money that, I wasn't ready for the amount of money that I was making. So, I kind of forgot about the budget just because of the amount of money that was coming in. And, of course, that don't make no sense. The more money you make, the more of a need for a budget you have, in my opinion. But anyway, we here now, and I've done accounting and bookkeeping across so many different industries, cities, parking companies, nightclubs, construction companies, law firms, daycare centers. I mean, you name it. I probably know something about the way that their accounting system or bookkeeping needs to be set up, and have experience doing it. As far as budgets, my budget is on it's on 1,000 right now as far as how intricate it goes. And, I've been helping out, a lot of people with their budgets. A lot of friends, a lot of family members come to me, for different tips. And, I volunteer information all the time. Whenever I find out something, I definitely, share it. And I've even developed what I call the balanced budgeting tool. And that's actually what I use for a lot of my budgeting clients. I go ahead and set it up for them, show them how to use it. And, I've gotten, pretty good results from that. Makes it a lot easier than trying to figure it out yourself. Trying to do it by hand with pen and paper too, I think it's easier than that. I'm to the point where I'm just want to get more serious about it. I want to start, sharing more about what I know and what I find and what I experience as it relates to budgeting and bookkeeping and just life in general. Because, the key thing where I'm at this point in life is that I want to start working towards generational wealth. I want to get to the point where Elijah has options once he turns 18. He doesn't necessarily have to do the cookie cutter, graduate school, go to college, get a job, that same little rat race kind of that we all find ourselves in. I want him to have the option to say that, okay, you know what, I got a business idea. Or I want to take some time to, figure it out. I don't want him to be pressured into having to get a job or anything, or even have to help me support the household, because he's going to have savings accounts. He's going to have investment accounts. He's going to have so many different things to help him really pursue his dream from the jump, and that way in his 20s, he can use his 20s for what I feel is really meant for, and that's just kind of, exploration, and figuring it out. That's where I'm at, and that's what you're going to experience on the Banks Balance blog. The website is coming soon. It's in production right now. And you're going to see a lot more of me. I'm going to be more active on social media. And you're going to see a lot more of Elijah. He's becoming a young businessman. As you probably saw, he has his gumball machine business that we just started up. And he's already in talks of getting another location already. So yeah, just follow me on my journey. All right, appreciate you watching, and I'll talk to you soon.